the Concorde, a symbol of engineering excellence and speed. On July 25, 2000, it prepared for what should have been just another flight from Paris to New York. On board were 100 passengers, most of them German tourists heading for a cruise. The crew was experienced. The aircraft had flown nearly 4,000 times. At 4:42 p.m., the Concorde was cleared for takeoff from runway 26R. Everything appeared normal as it began rolling down the runway. Just minutes earlier, a Continental DC-10 had taken off. Unnoticed, it left behind a thin metal strip on the runway. Seconds into the takeoff roll, the front right tire struck that metal strip. It burst instantly, sending high-speed debris into the underside of the left wing. A piece of that tire slammed into the left wing's underside, rupturing a fuel tank and sending fuel gushing out. That leaking fuel was ignited, likely by a spark or heat from the landing gear assembly. In an instant, fire engulfed the left wing. Despite the flames, the Concorde left the ground. But with one engine already failing and another losing thrust, it barely had the power to climb. Just 1 minute into flight, the Concorde was too low, too slow, and losing control. It started veering left, toward the town of Gonesse. Just 90 seconds after takeoff, the Concorde slammed into a hotel in Gonesse. The impact killed all 109 on board, and 4 people on the ground. Within moments, emergency crews rushed to the scene. But there was nothing they could do. The fire had consumed everything. The crash site was sealed off. French investigators from BEA arrived to begin the painstaking work of piecing together what happened. Investigators recovered the flight recorders, but it was a long black scar on the runway that gave them their first real clue. Tests showed the tire had burst at high speed. Investigators suspected that a piece of metal on the runway caused the blowout. A piece of the tire struck the underside of the wing. It ruptured a fuel tank, and within seconds, a spark ignited the leak. The investigation revealed that a titanium strip had fallen from a Continental Airlines DC-10 just before Concorde's takeoff. That strip was the object that burst the tire. That titanium strip came from a Continental DC-10. Investigators traced it back to a repair done just weeks earlier and found it had been installed improperly. The part wasn't approved for that section of the aircraft, and it hadn't been installed properly. Investigators now had a direct link between poor maintenance and 113 lives lost. Continental Airlines and one of its mechanics were found guilty of involuntary manslaughter. The airline was fined, but the consequences for Concorde were irreversible. After the crash, all Concordes were grounded. Engineers scrambled to reinforce tires and fuel tanks, hoping to make the aircraft safe again. After more than a year on the ground, Concorde returned to the skies in 2001, upgraded, reinforced, and hopeful. But the magic was gone. Public confidence never fully returned, and the Concorde began flying half-empty. In 2003, Air France and British Airways jointly announced the retirement of the Concorde. It was the end of a technological marvel, grounded not by design flaws, but by fate. On October 24, 2003, the Concorde made its final passenger flight. Crowds gathered to watch as the last supersonic airliner touched down, a graceful end to aviation's boldest chapter. The Concorde pushed boundaries, flying faster and higher than any passenger jet before or since. It remains one of the greatest engineering feats in aviation history. On one historic day, 3 Concorde jets took to the skies together, a farewell seen by thousands. It wasn't just a flight, it was a tribute, a salute to an engineering marvel, and a goodbye to supersonic travel.